In the early summer of 2009, two filmmakers embarked on an adventure of ghostly proportions. This is their story.
Is there anybody here that wants to talk to us?
What was that?
Amy, are you here? Did you hear something?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ. Out of here, dude. Go.
To start it off, when I first got in documentary, whenever I think about documentaries, I normally think about ghost hunting stuff. I don't know why, but for me, it almost goes hand in hand.
Look anymore, and it's kind of like a fad on TV. You see it, and you got these ghost hunters, Paranormal State. I mean, movies, they're in-flooded. You got like Ghostbusters, 13 Ghosts, Haunted. I mean, the others, it's just all over the place. So it seemed like something fun to do and something I didn't think anybody else would do.
Just growing up, I always was interested in different ghost hunting shows. I mean, when I was younger, I used to go to like abandoned prisons and stuff like that, and I've always been interested in this entire genre.
There's a kind of wanting to know what happens after you die. There's that curiosity of, okay, are these people, is what's happening here really death? I mean, are these people dead?
I believe that there is a spirit world, and there where I think everybody could kind of agree, whether you believe in God or not, there is a spirit world or a spiritual world that goes beyond what we can know, see, sense, and touch.
From a personal standpoint, I have never had the experience in my life with any of that. As many individuals as I've been around that have passed away, as many times as I've been in a funeral home, I might be disappointing to some people, but I've never had any type of strange experience within the funeral home.
Basically, you don't mention ghosts in the church much because that's kind of like for the movies and things.
I hope that there is more to our afterlife than just life itself here. I think those go into very deep religious beliefs.
You're taught that, once you die, you go to heaven, as long as you believe in God, and, that life isn't the end. I mean, that death isn't the end, it's something else. Maybe
The spirits live on Earth. Maybe when you die, your spirit stays on Earth and you can communicate with other spirits, Maybe that's a chance, but I really don't know.
I think that there is in our world a spiritual side of things that we have no idea about.
It makes you think, what's after death? It makes you think of what's the next step in life.
Starting this project, did I think that there was really ghosts and hauntings in Ohio? Yes and no. I mean, I think there's things that happen.
I certainly think that there is a part of the spirit world. And the longer I live, I think I've had that confirmed in my life. There's a part of the spiritual world that I will never fully understand.
Step one was obviously finding some places to go. So that involved doing a bunch of research. So we started popping around online and looking for, what are the legends, what are the myths, how many places are there that are actually haunted here in Ohio?
And we came across the website Forgotten Ohio. And we went through and we would go around and we'd look at the different legends, read them, and see which ones stood out. Sure, we picked some that might not have anything in it going into that, we knew that. But we picked some other ones that we thought for sure something would go on. It gave us a nice little mixture of nothing and something.
So I came across a website for this group called OCFPR, Ohio Center for Paranormal Research. So I contacted them.
And they really took us under their wing of ghost hunting, or say. And they really showed us what they did, how they did their research, and just what they're all about.
So it was an opportunity to see how what I guess you could call the professionals in the field do it.
At OCFPR, we investigate claims of paranormal activity, anything from spirit activity up to cryptozoology reports, which include like Bigfoot.
Well, we tried to actually, test theories and find out the actual cause of the paranormal activity.
What we set out doing mainly is looking to help homeowners that are in need.
About 98% of all claims can be debunked or found out what the problem was, but that other 2% is what we're really interested in trying to figure out what it is and how we can help the people deal with their situation.
So they invited us out, and so we went to this place called Village Hall.
I really didn't know what to think about Village Hall exactly. Like, there was really no backstory about it that much online, so I really didn't know why we were going there.
And you pull up to this place, and it's this big white building.
And then once we go, I walked around it, and I mean, it really didn't seem too ghostly or haunted or anything like that.
But, it was overcast when we got there, so your hopes are kind of up at that point, because it's like, okay, overcast, winds are picking up, they're calling for rains and storms, freaky environment.
So we go inside and find out, turns out it's a police station at the bottom of it. That really took away from it, in my opinion. It seems too safe. Police stations are supposed to be safe. But then we went upstairs, and it completely changed of setting once you got upstairs.
It's pretty much, it looks what I would envision it looked like then, except for the big table up front where the city fathers sit, Other than that, it looks like it did then.
It was kind of creepy.
So then the investigation starts, and they're whipping out all this equipment.
The EMF meter, pretty much a lot of people use those. We have several kinds. The K2, which is good for general purpose, kind of finding a field. Digital EMF meter that has data logging capabilities, so you can press a button and you can actually take recordings of the EM fields and then put them onto a computer and graph it. I do the same thing with a Kestrel 4000. It's a handheld weather station. It'll take temperature, barometric pressure, humidity readings. We use several kinds of video cameras, all Sony with the infrared night shot so we can see in the dark. And several digital cameras. I also recommend having a film camera on you as well for backup.
All this equipment, I'm thinking, okay, cool, if we're gonna get something someplace, this has gotta be it. I mean, look at all the equipment they got here. They're putting out 4 and 5 digital recorders.
I really didn't know what to expect when we first started out. When we first went up that first group, I really sat there with a big open mind.
When we separate into teams, the first thing the team will do is they'll go into the location and set up whatever camera equipment they have, any video equipment. Then they'll actually take base readings for EMF to get kind of a feel for what the electromagnetic frequency is in the environment. Then usually we'll sit down and go ahead and start an EVP session, which is when you take the recorder and you sit down and ask a series of questions. You wait 15 seconds after each question to see if you get a response.
They're really into it. Jay led them very, very well. I mean, they're attempting to talk to him. They're attempting to get as much as they could by the recordings and stuff.
We thought we heard one thing at one point.
Then after that, we go back to what we call base camp, regroup, send the next team to the location we were just at, and we go to the location they were at and just kind of rotate on that way.
Even went upstairs, they had converted the old choir loft into kind of like the storage room, attic, whatever you want to call it. Went up there, got a huge headache going up there, but come to find out that they had taken EMF fields and there was these huge power lines running through there.
What we picked up at Village Hall was actually our audio was almost clean. It was so quiet.
I don't think Village Hall's haunted.
So as far as Village Hall goes, maybe a little bit of a creepy place, but haunted? I don't know. I don't think so. Screaming Bridge was one of those ones that you hear a lot of urban legends on, a lot of myths.
Someone had told me about Screaming Bridge when I mentioned we were going to do a documentary on paranormal research, so that's what popped Screaming Bridge into my mind.
Couple had broken down on the bridge. Boyfriend left to go get something to fix the car, came back, girl's hanging from the bridge. Another one is a mother threw her baby off the bridge as a train was going by.
So I kind of had high expectations for this bridge because he said it's a legend all in Westchester. Everybody knows it.
Reports I had read said that there was, you know, ghostly lights and you could hear screaming.
So we get there, and it's just this damn bridge. It's just this bridge sitting there. There's nothing around it. I mean, there's train tracks underneath, and that's it. Like, I was expecting it to be dark and gloomy. It really wasn't that dark and gloomy. Like, it was a little dark, but that's about it. So we go down and we have to crawl through the woods, and I would say that's probably the scariest part, going down that little ledge to get down the woods.
And we go down there and nothing. No creeps, no nothing. A little bit of chills because once you got down by the tracks, it was like a tunnel. So there's like a breeze going through.
We walked around, there was nothing. We went up in the underpass of the bridge, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden I started getting the spook, started hearing something, and I was like, oh, what is that? Because at first I didn't know what it was. It kind of spooked me. I was like looking around because I just started hearing a whistling noise.
Train goes by, you know, and that was actually kind of cool. Then we went back down. I mean, kind of a cool bridge, but I think that's where that one stops.
Once again, there still wasn't anything. I didn't feel any chills while I was there. The temperature never changed or anything. I didn't feel any pressure on me. I didn't feel like any presences around me at all. It was a little disappointing, I would say.
Lick Road. Another one I had high hopes for kind of Lick Road because there was so many stories online about Lick Road. And the thing about Lick Road, it's out in the middle of literally nowhere. Legend behind that place is that a girl was killed by her boyfriend. He was either killed by or dropped off there, and she supposedly, her name's Amy, haunts the place. And you go down this road until it ends, and then you point your car towards the forest.
The legend is you get in your car, you stop, you turn it off, face the woods, and bam, your windows start fogging up. We tried that. We waited about 15 minutes in the car, windows up, nothing. Turned the car off, and when it started fogging up, but I'm pretty sure it was just us breathing and talking inside the car. So we get outside to do our investigation out there, then all of a sudden there's this weird bird noise that keeps coming off, I would say, in the distance. And it was, at first it startled me. Like, I really was like, what is that, looking around, and like, I didn't know, but then it kept repeating itself, and so we eliminated that from being anything paranormal.
So then we started looking around some more, thinking, okay, well, you know, let's see if something happens, and we're shining flashlights in the forest, and nothing's happening. We're asking questions, we're talking,
is there somebody
nothing.
Here?
I would say we stayed there for another 20 minutes or so, and there was really not much action. I was just looking in the woods, just turning around, panning the surrounding area. But as we're about to leave,
all of a sudden we heard what really sounded like a scream off in the distance.
That I heard.
And then we heard the scream again, started hearing noises in the brush.
That sounded like a woman.
And so we shining the flashlights. I don't know what it was. We never could find a source of it. Didn't capture it on the audio recording on the camera, and we never saw anything.
Those noises really got to me a little. I was like, what is this? What's going on? Because we couldn't find anything with the camera or the flashlights, the cameras. We really didn't see anything, and we just kept hearing little screaming noises, little crackling in the bushes. And I mean, hey, maybe it was a deer.
Yeah, animal, sure, could be. You know, they're going to be moving through the forest. But, you know, other than that, I don't know. Lick Road's kind of one of those ones that maybe go back again.
That was really the first place that almost scared me, I would say, per se.
Satan's Hollow was freaky. Seriously freaky.
Satan's Hollow we knew was going to be from the get-go. We knew that was going to be the biggest part of this entire project. We knew that was going to be bam.
The legend behind Satan's Hollow is it's a place where Satanists used to go to worship and do, you know, I don't want to say like monkey sacrifices, but you know, that kind of thing. What you're supposed to hear is women's screams. People have said that they saw floating skulls and a black figure, which is supposed to be the demon YG.
So we go to find it, and the directions we found online really didn't tell us anything. They said you go to this hill that has a rope swing on it, you go down to the hill, you find the creek, you go to the right, and you find the entrance to the hollow. No distance or anything, so great.
And we come up to it, and it's an old abandoned storm drain.
And there it is, just this big this big like crypt tomb looking thing.
Well, the first thing I notice as we walk up is Max is talking to me and I'm seeing Max's breath. I'm like, okay, that's freaky in and of itself.
And it was probably 85 degrees outside. At 85 degrees and you're seeing your breath, that really, whoa, what is going on?
Forget that we haven't even started anything. Well, then we turn and look in and you could see in probably about 10 feet and then it's pitch black, nothing. And this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So we come back that night and we go in there.
So we're starting to move back and the echoing is ridiculous, so that kind of gives you the creeps as is.
At first, it really did not feel like anything. I'm pretty sure we got on camera me saying I felt all right.
I'm not feeling a whole lot, it's just, you know, you're in the dark and you're shining some flashlights, but you know, that's about it. I mean, there's nothing too much to it. Well, we shine the flashlights down. The first thing that you see is that the square portion of it stops and it goes into a round tube.
Walk forward and you go all the way down and all of a sudden it forks. And there was one to the left, which went to a dead end, and then one to the straight. So we go straight, and all of a sudden, almost immediately again, there's another fork.
Well, we looked and you see that if you keep going straight, it ends probably about 15, 20 feet from this little fork.
But we go to this other dead end, and then there's this tube. There's entrance right above us. I would say it's probably 8 feet high, and there was a little stairs or a ladder you could climb.
So I'm thinking, well, this might be where it's at, but how do you really get up there? So I climb the little ladder that's right next to it and take a peek in there, and it just looks like it keeps on going. You can't see where it would branch off or end into some opening.
I wasn't into that, exploring it that much to go into that place, so we didn't. At that point, I was still feeling fine. I mean, the setting was a little creepy in itself, but I felt good. So we go back and we go on that second fork. We go to the right.
So we branch off, and one of the first things that happens is that we notice it goes straight, it bends, you go straight, it bends some more. So you can't see the end. So we start moving, and it starts to feel like the tube is getting smaller. I mean, it's not, but you start to feel like it's getting smaller.
And all of a sudden, we get to this clearing where we're both standing up after walking for a bit. My neck was hurting.
Well, off to the one side, it ends, and there's another tube there, and there's some water dropping out of it. And straight, you could keep going straight, and you can't even see the end of the tunnel. It seems to go so far.
And we're standing there, and all of a sudden, we hear a screaming noise. Turn around, like, what the hell is that?
Heard it one more time, and then we're like, okay, maybe it's just the water, because I mean, we're right by some water that's falling.
I didn't think anything of it at first. My heart started beating really, really quick once that happened.
So we decided, well, let's go back down to the original junction that we went to, that we turned right on, and go back there and let's ask some questions. You know, let's just see if we can see anything, you know, hear anything. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little freaked out. You know, it's feeling really weird down there. So we start asking some questions. We start hearing the scream again, and this time it's coming from right down the tube.
Then boom. The screaming noise again. That's the point where we wanted to leave. So we started leaving that then. And all of a sudden, we start hearing footsteps.
So I stop. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it echoes like crap in here, but let's stop. I'm gonna stop and see if I hear it, you know, because the echo will dissipate off. It doesn't dissipate. It's like right there. I mean, you hear it like it's right up on you, and I spin around with the flashlight, I don't see anything. And so I'm like, let's get out of here. I'm like, Max, do you hear that? He's like, yeah. He's like, let's go. So I turn around, Max is like 10 feet in front of me, and I keep hearing him, and I spin around. And one of the times I spun around down at the end of the tube, I thought I saw what was like a black figure move across the tube.
So we're running out of there. We're still hearing this screaming noise off in the distance. We're hearing echoing, and footsteps coming. And maybe it's our footsteps echoing, maybe we're scaring ourselves, you know? Sure, that could be chance, but I really didn't think that.
And the funny thing is we had kind of tiptoed our way in. On the way out, we're just splashing through the water. I don't care if my shoes are getting wet or not. I'm getting out of this place.
So we get out, and I was really shaken up by the experience.
So we finally get out, and we're going up the hill, and I'm still not feeling right. You know, nothing. Get in the car, leave, 15 miles down the road, I still don't feel right. I don't think I felt right after that place till 6 o'clock the next morning.
I've never felt this shaken up before from something like this before. So I definitely think that there was a paranormal presence in there. because it took me, I would say, a good 6 hours to feel normal again.
I want to say it almost felt like there was malice down there, like if something was malicious down there, and it was coming to get us now.
I don't know about that place. All I know is I don't ever want to go back. I knew that.
I had never felt anything like that in my entire life. I will probably never ever go back there again. It scared the crap out of me. Personally, do I think there's something in Satan's Hollow? Yeah, I think there's something in there. It's mad, it's pissed, and it does not like having people down there.
My stance on ghosts and paranormal activity in Ohio is that I think it's here.
As far as hauntings and ghosts go here, I didn't really think there was anything. I mean, you know, it's Ohio.
I believe there is something out there.
From my perspective, I've always thought we don't know what happens to a body after death. We know what our convictions and what the Bible tells us, and that is that we will be with the Lord. But even the Bible is not perfectly clear about when that happens.
I have never had the experience in my life with any of that.
I'd say I'm borderline believer and skeptic. I have to be a believer because I've seen and heard things that I can't really explain. But I am a little skeptical about other reports.
I go by like seeing is believing almost, and it's hard for me sometimes, but it'd be kind of cool just to see one sometime, or just something to know that maybe they're there.
There's this thing called the law of paradoxical effect, and that if you say something long enough, people begin to believe it. For instance, if you tell your child not to put a piece of food in their ear, I guarantee you they'll put a piece of food in their ear. And so as you mention ghosts and evil and all that, I think people begin to look for it more.
You kind of have to be skeptical in what we do, because if you step in as a believer, then everything that you hear and see is going to be a ghost. If you take it as a skeptic, then you will ultimately uncover whether or not it's the truth or just folklore.
Do I think that it's going to hurt, that it's all negative energy? No. And I really didn't think there was any negative energy. But man, Satan's Hollow really changed my perspective a little about that, because I've never felt that negatively before after being somewhere.
The final day for evil is not over. And there will be a day for that, but that day is not over. And so evil is, in fact, alive and more well than I would like for it to be.
I really think we found a legitimately haunted place, what we were looking for. I really think we found one. It was neat, to say the least.
But I didn't expect to come across what we came across.
I would say our final findings were that most ghost stories are really people scaring themselves, I would say. I think there's legitimately hauntings, but I would say most ghost stories and legends are just people making them up just to scare little kids, you know?
By our findings, do I think Ohio is haunted? I'd have to say the jury's still out. I don't know. You know, did we get definitive proof of it? No. Did we have some experiences? Absolutely.
I think Ohio's haunted. I think the states are haunted. I think there's going to be ghosts and spirits all around, all the time. I just don't think they're going to interact with humans at all times. But apparently they might.
Is there somebody here?